Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
The Indiana Fever finally broke through with a long-awaited playoff win, the kind of moment fans had been craving for years. It should have been all about celebration, Lexi Hull's clutch steal, Kelsey Mitchell's ice-cold buckets, Aaliyah Boston's dominance. But of course, the WNBA found a way to turn joy into drama. The spotlight quickly shifted from the Fever's triumph to a bizarre confrontation involving Sophie Cunningham and, of all people, a league-hired security guard. Sophie, clearly sidelined with a heavy leg brace, wasn't rushing the court, wasn't causing chaos, just standing by. Yet the guard treated her like she was about to start a fight, barking orders as if she'd crossed some invisible line. The exchange has fans buzzing, not about the Fever's victory, but about what Sophie said in response that caught everyone's attention. So, the question is, was Sophie unfairly singled out, or was this just an overreaction?
You're like that? Yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. Oh, and then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over here.
Here's the question everyone is asking. Was this just a clueless overreaction from an overzealous rent-a-cop, or is it part of the larger, troubling pattern we've seen in the WNBA, targeting players who don't fit the league's preferred narrative? When you step back and look at the history, it's hard not to believe Sophie Cunningham was singled out. Her response, calm but firm, made it clear she wasn't about to be intimidated by a glorified hall monitor trying to flex authority, and the timing couldn't have been more absurd. This was supposed to be pure celebration. The Indiana Fever, despite missing Caitlin Clark in stretches along with Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe BBY, Damaris Dantas, and Sophie herself, had just pulled off a dramatic playoff win. Fans were on their feet, the team was hyped, and the moment should have been about postseason joy. Instead, the cameras captured a surreal sight, Sophie, standing in a bulky brace, calmly holding her ground while league security approached like she was a threat. No scuffle, no violation, no cause. Yet somehow, she became the headline.
Why in the F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham? And, look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down at.
If you're enjoying, please leave a like and subscribe our channel. Think about the optics here. Sophie Cunningham, clearly injured, hobbling in a bulky brace, was approached by a security guard acting like she was a threat waiting to explode. She couldn't sprint if she tried, yet the guard leaned in as if bracing for chaos. The cameras captured every second. Sophie's face told the story, confusion, irritation, then that unmistakable Cunningham glare fans know so well. The look that says, "Really? This is what you're doing right now." And honestly, she had every reason to give it. Social media wasted no time. Within minutes, clips of Sophie's stare down went viral, sparking outrage across fan bases. People weren't mad at Sophie, they were furious at how unnecessary and heavy-handed the whole exchange was. This wasn't security. It was harassment, plain and simple. And once again, it fed into the frustrating narrative that has clung to Sophie's career. Painted as the villain, even when she's done nothing wrong.
So Odyssey Sims goes down hard. And Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby are waiting for her at half court. And the cop tries to get Sophie Cunningham to move. Sophie Cunningham was like, "You're not going to get me to move. I'm waiting for Odyssey." And you could see during the review, look at Sophie Cunningham clapping, not moving, waiting for her teammate. That's the Fever for you.
Why? Because Sophie Cunningham doesn't toe the WNBA's party line. She's outspoken. She pushes back on narratives. She's confident, unapologetic, and refuses to shrink just to make others comfortable. And for that, she's been treated differently, by rival fans, by media outlets, and now apparently by the league's own staff. She's good for business. But instead of embracing her, the WNBA keeps trying to frame her as the problem. Fans weren't quiet about it either. Comments poured in across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Many flat out said, Sophie gets treated this way because she doesn't fit the league's preferred image. Others called out the racial and cultural double standards. If Angel Reese or Paige Buchers were in Sophie's spot, the narrative would have been flipped, celebrated as passion and leadership. Instead, Sophie in a leg brace gets cast as the villain. Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBAExposed trended within hours.
Folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. It's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as you're getting off their court.
And here's the kicker, Sophie never escalated. She stood her ground, glared, and refused to be bullied. No outburst, no chaos. In fact, she showed more professionalism than the security guard who tried to provoke her. That's why the clip blew up online. It wasn't drama she created, it was drama the league created, and when you connect the dots, the double standard becomes obvious. The Players Association backed her, media outlets called it unfair treatment, and the narrative was about protecting players. But with Sophie? Crickets. Total silence. The only people calling out the hypocrisy are the fans. Why does the WNBA only defend certain players while letting others, like Sophie, get painted?
Check this out right here. Yeah, you see this guy right here? Right in this Gentile area? Let me just, you see this guy? The ref asked this dude to step out here. All right? Now, Cheryl Swoops wants this referee fired. She wants him fired. Look, he felt something. He felt something was amiss. Of course, Cheryl Swoops is defending DiJonai Carrington.
This isn't just about one overzealous security guard. It's about the WNBA's ongoing problem with how it treats players who don't fit the mold. Caitlin Clark has been living this reality since her rookie year, getting hacked, shoved, taunted, and targeted on the court while refs swallow the whistle and the league pretends not to notice. Sophie Cunningham, meanwhile, has been cast as the villain for years. Put those two storylines together and a disturbing trend emerges. The WNBA doesn't know how to handle stars who don't match their preferred narrative. Instead of embracing them, the league marginalizes them. And here's the irony, both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham are exactly the kind of players the league should be celebrating. Yet instead of protecting them, the WNBA allows referees and even league staff to mistreat them. And when fans witness it, the frustration isn't just about one incident, it's about a league that keeps sabotaging its own stars.
Sophie Cunningham, because she's white, she's beautiful, all these things, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as they say. Sophie Cunningham is the most beautiful woman in this league. All right, she's the hottest woman in this league, and they're mad they can't be her.
The fallout was instant. Within hours, fans flooded comment sections, torching the WNBA for embarrassing Sophie during what should have been a celebration. People pointed out the hypocrisy. This is the same league that once investigated fans for booing Angel Reese, or shrugged off flagrant fouls against Caitlin Clark as just part of the game. The pattern is impossible to ignore: selective enforcement, selective outrage, selective protection. And each time it happens, the league's credibility takes another hit. Let's be real. This isn't just bad optics, it's flat-out bad business. The WNBA talks non-stop about wanting growth, respect, and mainstream relevance. But you can't get there when your biggest viral moments are clips of your stars being hassled by your own staff. Fans don't want to see their favorites silenced or scapegoated. They want basketball, played hard, celebrated loudly, and respected by the league that claims to support it.
I completely underestimated the feelings that I would have watching all of the Indiana Fever haters crash out. All of the Caitlin Clark haters, all of the Sophie Cunningham haters, anything to do with the Indiana Fever, the people that are just so quick to hop on Twitter and say something negative, to hop on media and say something negative, to take credit away. I underestimated how good it feels watching these people crumble.
And here's where the story snowballs. The more fans dissected Sophie's confrontation, the more dots they connected. Double standards. Mistreatment. A league that refuses to protect players like Clark and Sophie, but bends over backwards for others. Suddenly, this wasn't just a viral clip, it became a case study in everything broken about WNBA leadership, officiating, and priorities. She doesn't cater to league-approved narratives, doesn't soften her personality for media comfort, and refuses to play the smiling mascot role the WNBA wishes she'd adopt. She's not Paige Buchers, the hand-picked next face to replace Caitlin Clark. She's not Angel Reese, the controversy engine the league shields at every turn. Sophie is different, unboxable, unapologetic. And because of that, she's been a target for years, even as fans rally louder behind her.
Sophie, she got the contraption on. She looks great in a ball cap. Let's just keep it real. We're keeping it 100 here, as the kids say. And here we go. Right here, she's at mid-court. And then Paula Blart, mall cop. What are you doing? Well, I mean, what you doing? She got a leg brace on. For crying out loud. You come out here trying to be Brody and trying to do something, knowing damn good and well. Look at this police officer sauntering up.
Here's the irony. The very defiance that the WNBA seems to resent is exactly what makes Sophie Cunningham so popular. Fans love her because she's real. She's unfiltered. She'll say what everyone else tiptoes around. That's the exact kind of energy a league desperate for mainstream relevance should be embracing. But instead of amplifying it, the WNBA keeps trying to shrink her spotlight. Just look at the marketing. How often do you see Sophie front and center in official promos? Almost never. If Sophie gets into a dust-up, she's immediately cast as the villain. But if Angel Reese does the exact same thing, it's suddenly swagger and passion. Fans aren't blind. They see the favoritism. That's why this latest incident hit differently. Sophie wasn't even playing, she was in a bulky leg brace, standing quietly in support of her teammates. And still, a security guard barked at her like she was a threat. The hypocrisy was undeniable, and fans reached the only conclusion that made sense. Sophie Cunningham is being singled out.
It was one of those games that was such a good W game. Like it was physical, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of great plays. But I just knew deep down in my gut that we were going to win. Like somehow we were going to win. And like, I think there was like a minute or like 40, I don't even know, like around 40 seconds left. And they left our all-star player wide open under the hoop for the go-ahead layup. And then Lexi Hull had a freaking badass steal and like it was over.
And that's where the damage stretches far beyond Sophie Cunningham herself. Because casual fans are watching too. Many of them came to the WNBA this season drawn by Caitlin Clark's star power, only to be greeted with nonsense like this. Instead of celebrating Lexi Hull's game-saving steal or the Fever's resilience, the conversation online was hijacked by clips of Sophie being hassled by a mall cop in a polo. That's the image casual viewers walked away with. Not grit. Not growth. Just chaos. And here's the real danger. Outsiders don't see drama as entertainment, they see it as proof the league is unserious. That perception is lethal. The backlash was instant. Social media lit up with fans shredding Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, accusing her of overseeing what they called the most embarrassing league in professional sports. Some even demanded her resignation, arguing the WNBA has morphed into a circus act. Because when controversies overshadow competition, it's not growth you're seeing, it's collapse disguised as buzz.
Engelbert, we need an investigation. Call the FBI. Call the local police department. We need an investigation as to who was raining down those boos on the Indiana Fever. They're all racist. Or, hear me out here, or this is sports and that's expected. Notice how the Indiana Fever players, oh, they didn't cry. Oh my God. Notice how they didn't do that.
Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham handled the fiasco with more poise than anyone else involved. She didn't lash out, didn't fuel the chaos, and didn't hand the league the meltdown they were probably hoping for. Instead, she stood her ground, silent but defiant, letting her body language deliver the message, "You're not going to intimidate me." Fans picked up on it instantly. Social media lit up with praise, with Sophie suddenly crowned the hero of the night. Once again, the WNBA's attempt to minimize her only amplified her following. And then came her actual response, calm, sharp, and impossible to ignore.
The league is so mad that we won because we're literally not supposed to be here at all. And that just like kind of fuels our fire even more. But it was just like so fun. It was one of those games that, first of all, I was sweating my ass off because I was so nervous and like, I don't really get anxious about stuff. I was so anxious. Like I could not sit still. I was legit. I felt like I played with how much I was sweating.
In true Cunningham style, she shrugged it off with humor. No fiery presser, no bitter rant, just a quick jab that showed she still owns her narrative. And that's the irony. The league keeps trying to knock Sophie down, but every attempt only makes her bigger. Fans love an underdog who won't be silenced, and Sophie has become the face of that fight.
And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
This isn't a one-off. The WNBA has built a troubling habit of failing the very players who carry its success. Look at Caitlin Clark. For 2 seasons, she's absorbed more hard fouls than anyone else, hacked, shoved, knocked to the floor, yet the whistles barely come. The refs look away, the league shrugs, and fans are left seething. On the night the Fever finally broke their playoff drought, instead of celebration, she's humiliated by league security in front of a roaring crowd. That's not coincidence, it's a pattern. The WNBA loves to sell a narrative of collective growth, everyone contributing, the league rising together. But the truth is uglier. Leadership has favorites, and the rest get shoved to the margins. The Fever's win should have been a shining moment. Even without Caitlin Clark, even with half the roster taped up and limping, they found a way. Lexi's defensive brilliance, Aaliyah Boston's steady dominance, Kelsey Mitchell's leadership, those should have been the headlines. Instead, what trended? A rent-a-cop barking at Sophie Cunningham. That wasn't just embarrassing. It was malpractice. And fans are tired of
Indiana Fever are heading to the semifinals.
Driving to the foul line and the paint, lays it in. Sims crossover left to right, gets into the paint, layup, good.
Inside, Boston.
At the center of this fiasco is Sophie Cunningham, whose only crime was showing up to support her team. Wearing a brace, limping, clearly injured, and yet treated as if she were storming the floor mid-brawl. That one scene told fans everything they needed to know about how the WNBA handles players who don't fit its preferred mold. And here's the kicker. The backlash isn't fading, it's growing. The WNBA can try spinning it with bland PR statements. They can downplay it as a misunderstanding, but the truth is simple. The people aren't buying it. Sophie was wronged. Period. And once again, instead of celebrating basketball, the headlines are about the WNBA stepping on its own spotlight. That's why this matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest. And if you thought this story was wild, click the video on your